What up? It's your boy Jovi, and I'm in New York City right now for a really awesome reason. But as I waited for Sam to get here, he went ahead and hooked me up with some tickets to go see Smile. Now, I was not really trying to see this film or even care to see this film or even care to know what it was about. But in simple, it is a entity that is jumping from person to person, and they are having some really, really messed up experiences, including this really creepy smile that they see on people. Everything is connected in a very interesting way, and they try to make some lore, but honestly, very, very slow, boring. But for some odd reason, I wanted to know what could possibly happen, and really stayed for the end. Honestly, the scariest part of the whole film, maybe the last 10 minutes. More unsettling than scary. So my score, your quick small couch review score, is a 2. That's from me. Sam's on his way here now, and I'll record him and get his take on it, and we'll give you the full small couch review. Until then, it's your boy Jovi. Deuces.
So I myself just saw the movie Smile. But there's not a lot to smile about. There were a lot of good horror movies this year. This was not one of them. Now I'm gonna be a little bit more lenient than Jovi, who you just saw talk about this movie. I'm gonna tell you off jump. I'll give this a 3 out of 5, which makes your small couch review score a 2.5 out of 5. Yeah, that's right. I think there are people who will actually like really enjoy this movie, which is why I'm gonna be a little bit more lenient than Jovi was. But I gotta tell you. I did not really enjoy this film for 2 very specific reasons. Now, just to kind of echo what Jovi said, I'm going to go a little deeper than him. But so this movie, basically, we have a woman who the movie starts off actually very, very cool, very creepy. She's a therapist. And she works in a hospital. I'm sorry, I think she's actually technically a psychiatrist. But she works in a hospital, and the patient she's seeing says basically, I see this thing that smiles at me, and it takes the face of people I know, and it said it's going to kill me today. And then that woman basically dies. Like, she kills herself and she dies. So now this thing is stalking the psychiatrist, appearing to her with faces of people that she knows. And basically the movie is her trying to figure out what it is and how to stop it. Now, that is a very familiar premise. You know, it kind of borrows from like movies like It or The Ring, with, you know, something stalking you, but it's not as interesting. I think after the first scene, the first hour of this movie, like Joey said, it's very boring. It's very boring. The monster itself is used very sparingly, which in itself is not bad. You know, you don't need a monster everywhere. It's not like Michael Myers is chasing you or anything, but like, Let's take a far superior movie like It. When the clown is not there, the story that the kids are doing, or that the kids are in, actually holds your interest. You know, they're gathering their what do they call it? The Losers Club. You know, they're recruiting their 2 newest, or I guess their 3 newest friends in that movie. They're dealing with a bully and stuff when the clown's not on screen. Here, like, you see this woman checking emails. You know, you meet her fiance and she sips wine in her house. You see her basically, you know, read witness statements. Like, I'm saying these things because these scenes go on far longer than they should. Like, it is a lot of her just living her boring life. Like, it's nothing exciting, so it doesn't hold your interest. And yeah, like I said, it's like that for the first hour of the movie. After that, it's when the woman actually starts to be like, you know, something weird is happening. Let me go investigate what this is, because it can't all be in my head. And I think that's the first thing that bothered me with this movie. This woman is very, I don't want to say she's stupid, but she doesn't use logic. And her not using logic makes it hard for me to root for her. Like, for example, if like there's a point in this movie where she has solid evidence that says, hey, something weird is happening. And her fiance and her sister, she goes to both of them to basically try to say, hey, this is happening. And all she says is, it's a curse. You have to believe me. And then she starts screaming. All she does is scream. She doesn't explain anything. And it's like, it's so frustrating because the movie shows you, like, she's a smart person. She's a doctor, for crying out loud. But, like, she doesn't have the ability to just basically say, hey, I know this sounds crazy, but look at this evidence. Like, I mean, me, for example, like, if a stranger, no less my family member, came to me and said, hey, I graduated from school in the class of 2020, and I've noticed that everyone who took this professor ended up killing their spouse. And my spouse was in that class, so now I'm worried. I may not believe there's a curse, but I'd be like, that's a strange coincidence that 20 people who were in the same location did the same thing. Maybe I should listen to what you have to say. She doesn't even get that far. She has the evidence, never tells them that. It was just so frustrating. And then the one person who basically figures it out himself is like, hey, you know what? I've noticed that there's this pattern going on here that ended with the patient that you had at the beginning of this movie. When he figures it out, she basically says, oh, don't worry about it. It doesn't tell him. Like what? It was maddening to me that the one part, like she can't explain it to anybody. Then the one person who figures it out, she won't explain it to. It was just like, she frustrated me because she made it difficult for me to root for her. Because in movies like this, you want to say, come on, people, obviously this is happening to her. Stop being stupid. But she doesn't help with that cause because she doesn't get to the point where they're doing something that makes them feel stupid. She doesn't do a good job convincing her family, basically. Her family, like, they have legit reasons to doubt her, and that upset me. Because in movies like this, you want to root for the protagonist. You want to be like, yo, you know what? They're dumb. You're right. You go ahead. But in this one, it's just like, no. This is all on you. You are being very stupid in the way you're trying to prove that you're not crazy. So that was a lot for me to say. I did not like the main character of this movie. That was the first thing that did it for me. And then the second thing, the ending. I'm not going to spoil it, but like I don't like movies that have like unfinished business, if that makes sense. Like, we saw her relationship with her fiance, her sister, basically deteriorate, and then they just were gone from the movie. Okay, I need to, like, what happened to your fiance and your sister? Like, did they figure out that you weren't crazy? Is there some sort of resolution going on there? Because you left in a really, like a very bad place. And it just wasn't satisfying at all. Not to say I didn't dislike where the main character was at the end of the movie. I just disliked where everyone else was. Including the person who figured it out, turned out to be her ex-boyfriend. He did something very stupid at the end of the movie when she was like, okay, you know what? You believe me. Don't do this one thing if you're trying to help me. And he goes ahead and does it. So that's a lot for me to say. This movie, I didn't like it. I didn't like the characters. Didn't like the ending, and I thought that the movie was very boring for the first hour of it, just like Jovi said. So that's it. This was a lot for me to say. I don't think this is a movie I'll be watching again, but I do think that, it has enough scares. I think general audiences will like it, so that's where my score came from. All right, guys, thank you for listening to me for this extended period of time. Smile. What did you think about it? We love to hear it. Where do you rank it in 2022 horror movies? Because for me, this is probably just above Halloween. But let me know what you think. And as always, until next time, I'm out.